It's been a busy few weeks at the RetroBlasting studio, and not because of production necessarily, although the Dreamland podcast rolls on. So I know it's been a little while since I've put out a fully produced video, and I'm getting ready to start the process on that. But I just thought I'd give you an unofficial update like this, an informal update while I clean the studio, just to share some of my thoughts and stuff about everything that's been going on and give you all an update. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody who has become a patron on our Patreon page. I really appreciate it. It's helped out a lot. We're going to be able to get some new equipment here soon. And then also, I just wanted to thank everybody who's been so supportive over the last few weeks. It's been kind of a weird roller coaster of events. If you've been following things on the Facebook page, I won't go into much detail because it's all been resolved, thankfully. But I was talking to some people online, and we had actually done a video on Saturday last week that we were going to post. And right as we had planned to post it, we were unable to because the topic kind of dovetailed right into everything that happened that sort of sent us into a tailspin and held us up for a little bit. I'm hoping that maybe I can post that video shortly. It's a great discussion between Gary Mitchell and Michael Faulkner and myself over the state of fandom right now because it's gotten a little toxic. And we're all trying to find reason. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking from two different directions about where everything is right now with fans being able to talk to one another. And my take is this, which is, you've got to be actively diplomatic and open-minded. You can't just be open-minded within a group of people that agree with you. You've got to be open-minded with people that have different views. And I feel like, especially when you're just talking about movies and TV and toys, that needs to be actively practiced. Because if we treat movies and TVs and toys with the same gravity that we treat world events or world politics, and I mean this in a positive way, in that we've got to find the fun again with this kind of stuff. And that fun used to come from sharing ideas that were different, whether it was, I don't like a dark Superman. Somebody else does like a dark Superman. Am I passionate about it? Yes, but not so passionate that I can't sit in a room with somebody who liked Man of Steel. I've got friends who like Man of Steel, and they're no less my friends for liking Man of Steel. I feel like we're getting to a point where, we've kind of got to find our courage again. Anyway, I'll drop that subject. But yeah, I'm just trying to clean up the studio. It's a standardized process at this point because the Dreamland podcast records here. That's Aaron's chair, and then Melinda sits on this side. And so after they get done with that, I have to come in and restage the room so that we can film a video. So I'm getting ready to film everything that we're doing for Chuck Norris. And that's going to be filmed today. We've got the script and everything ready, but it's got to be filmed today. So I've got to put the studio back together. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to get the lights tested. I think some of the lights are hooked up already. No, they're not. So I got to do that. But yeah, Chuck Norris is, it's a small toy line, and it's not a massive script, but it still requires, good lighting, good focus, all the things that we value at this channel to make sure that you all get the best entertainment that you expect. Just because it's YouTube and, just because it's not Hollywood doesn't mean it has to be, lazy. Now some of you might say, well, this video is lazy. It's like, no, this video is just me talking to you guys for a minute and, you know, just trying to give you something while I work on something else. But I do appreciate everybody who's supported us both on the Facebook page and on Patreon, and making this all come together. So anyway, we're working on Chuck Norris right now. I'm going to walk off camera for a minute, but you'll still be able to hear me. You're probably used to this at the live streams. It's fun to do this. It's fun to do this channel, but it also requires that you have ample free time and the inspiration to write the things you need to write to make these scripts worthwhile. Because if you don't have something to say, then it's really not worth doing. I feel like, anyway. I don't like to do scripts where I haven't found the in with that toy line, whatever that in is. I feel like writing a script about a toy line has to be more than just the facts, ma'am. It has to put it in context. It has to say more than just, this is the company that made it, this is the year it came out. It has to look at everything that was around it at the time and then determine, okay, based on everything that was going on at the time this toy line came out, what is the real reason that this toy line failed or succeeded? Why did the toy company make the decisions they made? How did some of this unfold? And so while Chuck Norris is a small line, it's no less deserving of that kind of scrutiny. That's not to say that the video is going to be 20 minutes long. This isn't like doing some sort of big, you know, Star Wars Follies or Ninja Turtles or something like that. It is a small footnote of a toy line. But, you know, one of the things about running a studio that I still haven't figured out is where to put all the dead batteries. God. The most fiddly part about doing all this, of course, is getting all the characters out of the display cases. I'm sure you just heard a weapon fall, and then bringing them into the studio. Melinda wants to get a push cart, but I don't know how effective that would be in the grand scheme of things. Come on, Chemo. Hold your sword. There you go. I would be curious to hear from all of you about what toy lines you're collecting right now. So if you feel like you want to leave a comment on this video, because even though it's not a real-time discussion, because this isn't live, I would be curious to read your comments about what toy lines you're focused on and collecting, and have you gotten into vintage, or are you moving back into modern, or you doing both? I just got a contact from Super 7. They contacted me out of the blue, and they said that they thought that RetroBlasting would be a great channel to review some of their retro reaction action figures. And I said, well, we don't do modern all that much. I said, I'm doing it every now and then. And I told them, I said, I'd be willing to consider it, but only if I'm free to say whatever I want. Because I told them, I said, my audience comes first. The credibility of my material is really important. And I said, I can't become a mouthpiece to a corporation. And I'm actually, they told me that there were no caveats or embargoes on them sending me samples of their stuff. And they sent me the entire line for Planet of the Apes, and they sent me the entire line for Street Fighter 2. They said no caveats, no embargoes. So I'm going to do a modern video kind of like I did for Jurassic Park. I'm going to do a video about that in the near future, like within the next week or so. And I'm going to show you the email exchange in the video between myself and the PR person, Amanda, from Super 7, because I think that's important to show you guys, because I'm not about to become beholden to some company, and I'm also not going to tell you that something's great if something's terrible. But I haven't had a chance to really dig into those toys yet, but I'm going to on the video. I think my first impressions will probably be the best right as they're on camera. In fact, I'll bring those in here and show them to you real quick while I'm getting all this cleaned up and set up. This is one of the hardest parts about running a video channel, is constantly resetting everything, because all of these lights have to come out. You know, after we get done with a live stream, we pull all these lights out of the studio to do the live stream. Then we have to put all the lights back. And that's unavoidable. There's no amount of money that can fix that, really. Although some of my crew members, like Tim, say that it might be possible to change that and you know, make it so that we don't have to reset any lights. I'm not really buying it, but because I feel like this is just the way it's going to be. Okay. But yeah, once you have a general lighting scheme for your backdrop, it's really a pain in the butt to try and change it, because it doesn't like to it doesn't like change. It's kind of like a human being. These backdrops do not like being messed with from a lighting perspective. It's like you have to find your secret sauce and then continue using it. Things like microphones get moved, and it's just a real pain. I'm not complaining. This is just how all this works, you know? Okay, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Wow, that's, hey, I tell you what, let's white balance in real time. That's another important thing about all this, is white balancing. That looks better. Okay. Does that look better? Thought that looked better. The chair is going to be somewhere about right there. I'm going to have to get a riser for some of these figures. The other problem is finding a chair that doesn't squeak, and we still haven't solved that problem. So I always have to be real careful about how I position the chair and all that jazz. And then there's this lower light here, which needs to be activated. This is the light that helps make sure there's not a dark spot to my left on camera when you're watching it. It's real important to get that right, because otherwise it just looks like this pit that just drops off away from me. And then you want to make sure that your chair is not so close to the backdrop that it creates inadvertent shadows behind you. The farther away you can get from the backdrop, much like with a blue or a green screen, the better off you're going to be lighting-wise. Okay. That looks fairly good. Again, this will require some additional tinkering to get right. But I just wanted to give you an update and show you that yes, we are in production on Chuck Norris Part 2, and most of the shooting will be done today, so you should be seeing it this week. So hope this was at least a satisfying update for you, just kind of hanging out with me for a little bit, and thanks for keeping me company. And we'll see you on Chuck Norris Part 2. Thanks, everybody.